Hey guys, thank you for joining the Pizza Story podcast. Today we have Ranger Joe from Ranger
Hey
Joe's
there.
Pizza. And Ranger Joe's Pizza is in Kalispell, Montana. And Ranger Joe has a really good story for us today. He has a very long history of pizza, and I was just reading through it. And so, Ranger Joe, thank you, first of all, for being on the show. I'm really,
You're
really
welcome.
happy to have you here.
Yeah, excited. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So let's just get into your story. So tell me a little bit about how you got into the pizza business.
Sure. So my family moved from Michigan when I was around 11. My dad was a tool and die salesman, and he didn't like that job after all once he moved, and was kind of looking for something to do, and talked to a franchise that was in Michigan and a pizza franchise, and they gave him a handshake deal, allowed him to open a pizza shop in Florida with very limited franchise oversight, just kind of make the pizza the way you want to and see how it goes. And it went gangbusters. And they opened like in 82 and eventually had six of those restaurants, and people just loved the pizza. And so I learned about dough making, dough balling, mixing sauce, the recipe, stretching dough, making pizzas, subs, and just kind of was in the business for many years. And then as I got older, my parents eventually kind of sold them and got out of it. And I went in my own way for about 30 years without doing pizza, and then got back into it after a lot of thinking about the recipes and the family stuff that we used to have that made our pizza great. In 2021, we opened our first pizza shop here in Kalispell. So I got back into it 30 years later.
Wow, that's amazing. And then what made you want to open in Kalispell?
Well, my wife came here as a kid. She was about 9 years old, loved it then. As an adult, we had kind of adopted our niece and two nephews. And because they kind of went through some situation, she said, "Hey guys, why don't we go out to Montana and visit there? I went out there when I was a kid. You guys are going to love it." So she came out as an adult, fell in love with it. The next year I came out, fell in love with it. We were like, okay, we got to move here someday. So I had a plan. My wife and I had a plan to move here eventually when I retired from law enforcement, which will be about 5 years from now. But I ended up cutting out early, leaving law enforcement early, and we moved out here a little quicker than we had thought. So that's how we ended up Montana.
That's great. And then tell me a little bit about your heritage and your culture. Like, how did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Michigan. I was born outside of Detroit in Royal Oak, Michigan.
Mhm.
So I guess maybe the Detroit deep dish pan that we have was kind of always in my blood. Maybe it was in the water when I was growing up.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
yeah, so I always loved that style. And when we were in Florida, we did have Chicago style. That takes longer to cook. We're not doing that here. But I've always been a pizza nerd. I love pizza. I always kind of felt like I wish I could have been in the business. Should I stayed in it? I wish I would have kind of like done it over the last 30 years. I just kind of never was able to put it together. But I finally said, we're going to do it. We're going to really do it. So we have the New York style, the Detroit deep dish, the Sicilian, calzones, amazing calzones. And we have various cheese breads like pesto cheese bread. We have a hot honey chicken cheese bread, regular cheese bread. We have an umami sweet chili cheese bread. So that's kind of what we do: pizza, calzones, and cheese bread. We do that excellent. People love it, and we focus on making it great. So that's what keeps us. We simplify our menu. We don't want to have like 100 things, and people like it. If they want pizza, they come to Ranger Joe's because they know it's going to be like the best.
Oh, your pizza looks phenomenal. I've been all over your Instagram page. I've been all over your website.
Okay.
Looking at everything. People love your pizza. It looks incredible. I also saw that you are an award-winning pizza maker.
Yes, I am. I went to Vegas in 2023, ordered a pizza that we put on the menu that I created called the Korean barbecue pork belly pizza. And it has just amazing flavor. We marinate the pork belly in house, finish it off some sriracha mayo, have multiple
Wow.
cheeses on there, onions, sausage, pork belly. And I went to Vegas, first time I ever entered a competition, and I won second place in the Northwest region, which is huge. I had no clue I would do so good. And then I also won first place in the largest dough stretch.
I saw
So
that too.
yeah, that was pretty cool too to do that. So I'll be going back to Vegas in March this year, entering my pizza again, and then competing in the largest dough stretch.
Oh, good. Well, I hope you win.
I thank you, appreciate it. Hopefully I will.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so of all the pizzas that you make, because you guys do make two different types of pizza and you guys have like a really like comprehensive menu, what is your favorite pizza?
Well, we have three styles: New York, Sicilian, and Detroit. I like them all, but I just been my Sicilian. It's kind of slept on, as my kids say. They say it's slept on. The Sicilian is so good, especially our a margarita inspired Sicilian deep dish with the basil and the ricotta, and it has that crunchy edge. We put a little garlic flavor on the outside edge, and our dough, we let our dough mature in the walk-in cooler for up to 4 days. So we're
Wow.
not using same day dough. So it really has a lot of flavor and character in the dough that you don't get from a lot of places. So that kind of sets us apart. But that Sicilian, I mean, I love my Sicilian. It's kind of my go-to.
It looks so delicious. And
Mhm.
without giving away your process, what is it that you feel like makes the kind of pizza you make special?
Well, as with anything, any pizzaiolo or pizza person that's been in the business for a long time, you realize that time and temperature is the key. You know, the time that you put the dough in the walk-in cooler and let it slow ferment, and temperature, obviously, the temperature they're keeping in a walk-in cooler, and also when you take it outside of the walk-in cooler to get it ready to stretch, you want to make sure that you're not stretching a cold dough
Yeah.
because it's not going to puff up and it's not going to hit that last rise in the oven. You want to have it like at room temperature, maybe have it out for about 45 minutes to an hour. So it's actually kind of starting to rise again. The yeast is waking up and it's activated and it's eating all the sugar inside the dough ball. So it's actually puffing up and you get a really nice crust
Yeah.
edge.
Yeah. You get a very nice crust like that.
And our Detroits, we let them proof in the pan.
Mm.
So and then we par bake our Detroits. So they're partially baked, and then we finish the bake on the second time when it goes to the oven with the caramelized cheese around the edge. So
Yeah.
that's,
Now, what is your number one bestseller?
I would say, our New York style honey bear.
Okay.
Yep.
Tell me about
The,
that one.
well, the honey bear was kind of a cross between a menu item I created on the menu, and then my son took that and kind of took it to another level. He added a few things to it. It has sausage, spinach, mozzarella, provolone. We put cup and char pepperonis, ones that curl up and get crispy on the edge, and we put it through the oven. It has a white sauce, a real high quality Alfredo based white sauce, and then as it comes out of the oven, we finish it with Mike's hot honey drizzle.
Oh, it sounds
I mean,
so good.
the flavor, character, the profile is just like out of this world. It's so good.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. I have the Mike's Hot Honey right now in my cabinet.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good. It takes another level.
Yeah, it's so good. I know my family's pizzeria, they don't do a hot honey pizza, but they have
Oh,
like
okay.
16 different specialty pizzas. But I think someday I'd love them to add one because my brother makes pizza and he does a fermented sourdough and he does a bucket pepperoni with hot honey pizza and it's a good pizza.
It's a good pie. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different honeys out there, but what we've always used from the beginning was Mike's hot honey. It's it's got a flavor that you can't match, and it when you put it on anything, it just ups the level of flavor and quality. To you're like, wow, it just elevated it. So we were like the Mike's hot honey.
Yeah, we use the same hot honey. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and then one thing we've used on our pizza, which is funny, I don't know if you've ever had this on your pizza, is Frank's Red Hot sauce.
Oh, okay. No, well, try that.
It's delicious. Like we'll just do a traditional cheese pizza and then we'll, put some Frank's Red Hot on it. It's really, really good.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, even from the boxing, we use these liners that really help kind of keep the crust from getting too moist. It kind of absorbs the moisture from a pizza in a box. We keep our pizzas in a warming unit rather than just on a rack. So
Wow.
everything we do, we try to have the highest quality, so that's the best customer experience. As far as getting a pizza from us.
I think that's what really makes a quality, beautiful, delicious pizza is just that know-how and really taking that care for those details that some people don't think about and being in the business that looks like what you do.
Well, yeah, I mean, even stretching the doughs, we hand stretch our doughs, our New Yorks. And we've kind of looked at these machines that will stretch it out automatically and with little rollers and pushes it out for you with flour and you push it down, boom. It speeds up production. But what it does is it destroys all the air and the pockets of carbon dioxide and the gluten structure in there. It just flattens it and makes it dense. So when you get the pizza out of the oven, there's no little like it's all like one thickness. There's no like big thick crust with a crumb structure in there, and then you have your. So we're not going to do that. We're going to continue hand stretching. It takes a little longer and a little more skill, but we're able to train our staff pretty quickly, and we got some great dough stretchers, including me. I
Yeah,
stretch too.
yeah, you're the
Got to.
champion dough stretcher.
Yeah, got to.
Okay. And of all things, so you had a career in law enforcement and you've done a lot of different great things in your life. Why pizza?
Well, because it's kind of in my blood. And remember, I had mentioned about, and it's just honest. I always, like every 2, 3 years, I was always thinking, like, man, my cousins are still in the business in Florida. They've been in it for like 35 years, almost 40 years. And what if I would have stayed in it? Where could I be? What could I have done? And then it'd go away for a couple of 2, 3 years. And I thought to myself, man, I'd like to work for myself, man. Maybe we could open a pizza shop. So, it's a fun business, and we've created it where we've got amazing gourmet complex pizzas, but at the same time our menu is simple. So it's easy to run the business. It's not like you're digging ditches for a living or working on a crane in a high rise. I mean, all you're doing is like one of my mentors, Mike Bosch, would say, we're putting sauce and cheese on dough.
Yeah.
It's not real hard. It's not like manual labor, and it's fun. You get to see the creation when it comes out of the oven. You get to see the reaction of people when they're eating the pizza and they're just enjoying it. You ask them, how's the slice? It goes, the most amazing slice ever. So I think that's the most enjoyable part that I get out of it, is actually creating something that is going to make someone happy and have like a memorable experience where they can go tell their friends and family, and obviously we want to be the best, and I want to have the best product that we can produce, and I think we're doing that.
I love that. That's awesome. Now, if somebody wants to find you guys, let's give a shout out for your website, your social handles. How do they find you guys?
Okay, so you can find us at rangerjoespizza.com for our website, and then at Ranger Joe's Pizza for Instagram or Facebook. So those are, and then if email would be rangerjoespizza@gmail.com if you have any questions.
Ranger Joe's Pizza. So if you want to Google it, you want to look on the website, those are the handles. And Ranger Joe, what is your, anything else you want to leave us with in terms of making great pizza, eating great pizza, pizza advice?
Pizza advice, I guess one of the advice that comes to the top of my head is, if you want to get into business, prepare to work your butt off. But it's rewarding, 10 to 14-hour days, easy
Yeah.
for the first 3, 4 years. And you have to go in knowing that if I'm going to be an operator, an owner, I got to be there. I can't just hire a manager and say, the days of that are over. Post COVID, the workforce has changed. They require a little more uh, motivation, a little more supervision, more training. So you really got to be there with your team, encouraging them, developing them, and looking for those gems that are going to want to grow with the company and maybe be an owner themselves or help you in management so you can open more locations yourself. So, and I went in there like that, and I love being there. Obviously, I like having some time off, but recently, after 3.5 years, we were able to take 12 days off. And I had a
Wow.
shift lead who ran the shop while we were gone, my wife and my two managers, my sons, and the shift lead stayed behind, and they did an excellent job. And not one problem. We had one order where a couple pizzas got mixed up, and that was it in 12 days. So they did a phenomenal job. So that's a testament to our workers. If we don't have good workers, we're nothing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
also, if you want to get in the business, you got to love food and you got to love pizza. It's just not all about money. Okay, I want to make all kinds of money because pizza's a big money maker. You're probably going to fail because you got to really have a heart and a passion for what you're doing to be able to go in every single day and be there and work hard. So yeah, those two things was
No, that's perfect. And it's so true because my grandfather opened his pizzeria back in 1960. And there were so many years where the pizzeria didn't make money or broke even. And it was a labor of love. And it really
mhm.
wasn't until like we started marketing really heavily. We did our viral TikTok. That was when we really started getting busy. But I mean, we were open 55 years before that happened.
Oh wow,
Yeah, so it was, you have to love pizza and the same thing, that kitchen has to run like a well-oiled machine.
yep, exactly, and systems, very important to have systems. They'll help you so much.
Yeah, 100%. All right, well, guys, check them out. Ranger Joe's Pizza. Their pizza looks absolutely delicious. If I'm ever in Montana, I will for sure be there eating pizza. And Thank you again for being on the show, Ranger Joe. I really enjoyed talking with you, and we'll be releasing this episode here probably within the next week or so.
Thank you so much. And remember, adventure's not complete without pizza.